Hey everyone, welcome to the Shack and Move show on the move. Today we are talking about food justice.
In urban agriculture.
Yes, and I am Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali.
And I'm Sacoby Wilson, also a doctor.
There it is, black men doing their thing. Mother Teresa once said that if we should be feeding 100 people, but if not, start with one. And you're going to see today individuals who are making sure that we are addressing food insecurity and lifting folks up. How you feel about that?
Man, we have a food crisis in our country. We always talk about, hey, folks got access to fast food restaurants. I mean, I love me some Popeyes. That's a Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? But that's not real food.
We know millions of people every day don't have enough healthy food to actually survive. And we're trying to change that dynamic. There are these amazing organizations across our country who are actually rolling up their sleeves and getting it done, making sure that children don't go to bed hungry, making sure that our elders have enough to eat, and making sure that we are doing transformational actions ourselves to save ourselves.
And why is that important when you think about public health, right? So if we don't have access to healthy food and you're eating unhealthy foods, that means that's contributing to diabetes, that's contributing to obesity. You got kids who are living in neighborhoods where they don't have access to food. So that impacts them not just as children, but as adults. So food is health, food is wealth, food is power. And that's why food is important. How do we build healthy communities, healthy ecosystems? Food is at the center of that.
So hey everybody, we are in Southwest DC. Yes, y'all remember Chocolate City. We got individuals who are making positive change happen. We are so incredibly blessed today for our first guest who's about to pop in on the Shack and Move show. On the move, we appreciate you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Dreaming out loud in the house, go ahead.
Yeah, can you introduce who you are and what you represent?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Chris Bradshaw, founder and executive director of Dreaming Out Loud. We're a nonprofit social enterprise here in DC. We're a farm, a food hub, and a food incubator. We are getting healthy food into our community, but at the same time creating jobs and economic opportunities. So we're not just receiving charity, we're beneficiaries of the economic opportunities that come with controlling the food system within our community.
Chris, can you talk a little bit about what does food insecurity actually look like in the nation's capital?
It looks like the product of generations of lack of economic and educational access. It looks like the product of racial capitalism. And the way we see it play out in our communities is that we don't have equal access to grocery stores, to the food production spaces to actually make food and take it from, not just a cultural product, but something that could benefit a family building generational wealth or a community building community wealth. We lack those things because we've seen the underinvestment, we've seen the extraction,
Yes,
we've seen the toll that it takes on our lives in terms of our health, but also our, not just our physical health, but our economic health.
And can you talk more about your work in urban agriculture, why that's so important, and also how you're getting young people involved in that work?
Right. So urban agriculture is very important, right? Not just because it can grow food for people. Like, we can't feed everyone on the 3 acres of space that we grow food on here in the district. But what we can do is catalyze a community around food that can pull in farmers from the rural area, Black legacy farmers that can even grow more than us, that we can partner with. We can be able to tap into institutions that can help fuel other aspects of the food system within communities, so there's more community control and people are benefiting from those jobs and that also those health impacts positively. But urban agriculture is also a point of community cohesion, right?
Sir.
Of intergenerational communication where we can get folks together and build a garden together or garden together. We can have our cultural workers, our nutritional workers in the community having a space to be able to teach folks and reconnect us to our, our heritage foodways, to strengthen those ties and those bonds that have even traversed the Atlantic, right? When we
Yes,
carried seeds in the women's hair back from Africa, right? Connecting things like the gourd, right? The sounds you hear in country music are African sounds. I'm from Appalachia,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Those are agricultural products that turn into cultural products, and those are ours. So we want to reclaim all that, reconnect all that, and not just have, a celebration. No, I want somebody to have a record deal that's equitable off of that, or be able to perform at their school dance that's, connects the community, right? We want all those things to happen, and urban agriculture can be a catalyst for those types of things.
Yes, sir.
I always say that you have power unless you give it away. Can we talk a little bit about, policy and what is needed in this space to make sure not only that folks are protected, but that they can thrive?
Right. So we need policy that protects the land, right? Land back is not an abstract concept in the urban environment. Like, we need to preserve land for urban agriculture, for community space, and that's a part of the urban agriculture fight as well. That is much needed in our policy realm. We need resources to be able to build infrastructure, to be able to grow year round, to grow more food, to catalyze, really innovative projects like Eightfold Farms, which is a mushroom farm built into a tiny home.
Wow.
That J.R. Hines designed himself as a Black Ward 8 resident here in the district, right? That his mushroom products end up at the Marionberry Avenue Market. We need these systems that are holistic and connect the different aspects of brilliance in our community, but we need the resources to do it. And that's not just on government, that's on philanthropy, it's on corporate, it's on all of us to actually support these types of businesses as well. But all of that comes through policy, it comes through conversations like what we're having today, so we can expose what's happening, so we can support what needs to be supported for us to advance all our communities so that they can thrive.
A question for you. So I love gardening and farming. I got the Wilson family farm myself in Bowie, Maryland.
Enthralled by it.
So how can people do this at their own homes? So what are your tips for folks to get into this food justice movement, be able to grow their own foods? Like, talk about aquaponics, having bees. What do you see people doing at the neighborhood level right now that you can see, hey, you can do it too. You can scale this in your neighborhood in DC.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of space. I mean, you can have as little as, 3 by 5 feet, 4 by 8 feet, whatever it may be, but you can get started even in your windowsill. You can grow some herbs that can, season your food and make sure you're not going out and getting the ramen from the corner store.
Yes, sir.
You can get some healthier pasta and spice it up with something you grew in your windowsill. If you have a small raised bed, you can grow something seasonally, some lettuce, some kale, something that adds to your diet, takes a little bit off that grocery bill, but also gives you some insights into what the reflections of food are, what the connections of food are. And really just, it does a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing ever. Just get started.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it's been good talking to y'all.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Chris.
Absolutely. And I'm going to leave you in good hands with my colleague, Sharita Brace, our development director, and y'all can talk a little more.
Appreciate you.
Come on, Sharita.
Sarita, come over into the family.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
How
to
you doing
meet you.
today?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
So can you talk about your work when it comes to fundraising and making sure we can build a better food system, that we can really make sure we're addressing food apartheid? What do you do?
Okay, so what we do is very, very important, but without funding, we're going to hit a glitch. So what do? I procure resources from foundations, from the government, from the state, and from individual donors who are really interested and passionate about what we do. What does it look like? So with the donors, I provide them with an update on what we are doing. I provide them with stories on program participants, how their money is making a difference in their lives. With foundations, the governments, corporations, I provide them with information on the main programs that we run, along with impact. So that's it in a nutshell.
What brought you to this important work? What is it that holds on to you in these tough times when you're trying to raise resources?
So as an individual, I realized that I derive my passion from activities that make a difference. Food, to me, shouldn't be something that we should even fight for. It's a fundamental human right. So realizing that there are segments of our population who do not have access to food, that seemed like a crime to me. It was like, I still could not make sense of it, but realizing that there are solutions out there that can help, I decided to use my talent to make a difference. So that's how I came into this work.
And can you talk about some of those partners that you work with to help get this funding and to have the impact that you're having through your programs at Dreaming Out Loud?
Okay, so For example, with our we launched a food as medicine pilot about 2 years ago. Kaiser Permanente came through for us. Marriott Foundation, they came through for us.
And talk more about that program.
Okay, so food as medicine, we realized that we as a group have always known that there's a relationship between food and health. Recently, we realized that it's become a buzzword, and we're like, we've always known this. However, some of the major funders out there were saying that even though we need it, we know about it, we need proof. Okay, so we decided to launch into the pilot as a way to build that infrastructure of data gathering, of connecting people to food once again, and forging partnerships with healthcare institutions so that folks can see in real time what the difference between eating well and the long-term implication on one's health. However, we know that the pilot was about 6 months. 6 months is too short a time for you to see the difference between what you've ingested and what is happening. However, there's an educational component to it. And so we are also trying to change people's habits, right? Because with regards to how they eat, cooking their fresh foods, etc. So that pilot was a means to show that, hey, there's a need for one, and two, we can build that infrastructure that can help us to gain the long-term impact.
That sounds like a very powerful program.
It is.
Well, we know we're in a moment right now where lots of programs are getting slashed. What would you say to just elected officials? We won't say where those elected officials are, about the importance of the work that you do for the community.
I'd like to say that at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We all have dignity. We all deserve the right to attain our highest potential. To do that, basic fundamental human rights need to be fulfilled. So access to food shouldn't be seen as a luxury. No, it's a right. Opportunities to improve ourselves should be something that we should be invested in. So for example, at GOL, we are not just providing people with access to food, we are providing people with tools to gain economic empowerment, for example, through our DREAM program. And so our programming is not superficial. It's really necessary. It's impactful. And at the end of the day, once again, I'd just like to say that we're human beings and should be treated as such and seen as such.
Wow, that's amazing. That's powerful. Thank you. We really appreciate your work. We look forward to working with Dreaming Out Loud. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Shack and Mule Show. We want to thank Chris and Sharita for the amazing work that they're doing, and everybody else who's addressing food insecurity. Brother Sacoby, what you got for us?
Food is health, food is wealth, food is power. If we're going to solve our problems in this country, if we're going to get back to, Sankofa, right? If we're going to listen to the words of Booker T. Washington, self-sufficiency, food has to be at the heart of all that we do.
Yeah, remember, anytime we have injustice, we've got to address it. We can address it strategically, and we can address it in a way that lifts everyone up and helps them to be healthier.
Thank you. Peace.
Shack and Moo.